Why? Why? Oh, hey guys. It's me, Jay Shockblast, and I just watched WrestleMania 32. That's how I feel about WrestleMania 32. That was me trying to force a smile. This is my excited voice. Yay, WrestleMania. Wow. If you can't read the title up there, I called this HEELAMANIA. I also called it BOOAMANIA. I also called it KICKEDINTHEDICKAMANIA because that's what the show was. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. Alright? It was awful. One of the 3 is because Stephen Amell was there and he was featured. That gets you a 1 point easily in my book. So, you know, whatever. Alright? What an awful show. Like, not from a wrestling perspective. The matches were pretty good. They were all just booked completely wrong. When I think about WrestleMania, I think about fun, all right? Funamania, that's what it's supposed to be. It's like a year of events rolling up into one awesome package. It's a celebration of something that we all enjoy. And I feel like the problem is that the WWE just doesn't get it anymore. They feel like smashing square pegs into round holes. And they decided months ago that you will like this. And if you don't, you will like this. And if you still haven't yet, you will like this. It's amazing because Stephanie McMahon came out before Triple H's match. And by the way, obviously spoilers. If you're going to bitch about that, then what did you expect? So anyway, Stephanie McMahon comes out and does this little monologue before the main event, before Triple H comes out. And the irony of it all, or the coincidence of it all, completely, probably intentionally, but maybe unintentionally, I don't know with them, everything she was saying was factual. Like, I don't have a transcript of what she said, but as she's saying it, all I could think of is, my God, this is like reality. This isn't an act. This is the way you really feel. You're telling us the way you really feel. And that's unfortunate because, like, I just don't understand the way they booked this show. It doesn't make sense logically. It doesn't make sense from a fan perspective, and I am sure there's a payoff coming somewhere, but WrestleMania is supposed to be the payoff. And I understand you can't have the good guy win every single match. The heels have to win some of the matches. But after Zack Ryder came out and won the Intercontinental title in the ladder match, I kind of feel like from there, it just went off the rails. The irony is that they teased The Miz winning, and it would have been hilarious because if The Miz won that match, it literally would have been the worst booked WrestleMania ever. Because at least we can come out of it saying, hey, but Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental title. And I could have said that if 5 of the 7 people walked out of there with the title. I would have been fine with Kevin Owens holding it because as it stands, Kevin Owens is the best heel in the business today, and he's one of the guys that, like, if a heel is going to win, it should be Kevin Owens. And honestly, Kevin Owens hopefully bumps up a notch and doesn't have to chase the Intercontinental belt and can start going after the bigger prize because that's where he should be. That's what the WWE should be. And Triple H needs to just step into the background. He doesn't need to be involved with wrestling anymore. He should be, you know, the higher up. That's fine. But he doesn't need to be actually wrestling anymore. We don't need him, okay? He doesn't need to hold the belt, All right, that's a big issue that I have. We don't need him to hold it. Like, it's unnecessary. So Kevin Owens could have won, I would have been fine. Sami Zayn could have won it, and I would have been fine. Who else? All these, what are my results? Dolph Ziggler could have won it, and I would have been fine. Sin Cara, I mean, whatever. That would have been very, very, wouldn't have been awful, but it would have been like, whatever. But then there's The Miz and Stardust. And, all right, you know, Stardust, at least he was giving an homage to his father, Dusty Rhodes. That's fine. But, like, The Miz is probably the one guy that could not have won that match because nobody likes him. And I know that he's a good worker and he does things and all that, but just nobody's buying it. And he is a testament to everything wrong with the WWE because he's the guy that they picked to say, you will like him, and they keep forcing him on everybody. He's not interesting. He's just not interesting at all. So Ryder wins, and I think everybody at that point was like, whoa, they got something right. This is a guy that we like. This is a guy that works hard, that has fought hard, has done all the right things, that we enjoy. Oh my God, he won the belt. Great. So that's cool, all right? You know, that's awesome. I think everybody was excited at that point. You know, next up we have Chris Jericho and AJ Styles. Not their best match, but it was a good match. But I don't understand the purpose of Chris Jericho winning. Like, if Chris Jericho, like, after the match said, hey, I'm done, I'm retiring, okay, fine. I'd have been okay with that. But now the series is tied 2-2, I believe. Why? Are they going to, like, keep this going until WrestleMania? Or not WrestleMania, SummerSlam? Like, no, you finished the series at WrestleMania. Like, I don't understand where they're going with this and why they would have that win. Why wouldn't AJ Styles get his first WrestleMania win? All right? I understand Chris Jericho can't do the job to everybody every year. And he does a great job of putting other guys over. This was really an opportunity for the WWE to put AJ Styles over. He can instantly insert himself into the world title picture and be a guy that the fans love and get behind. And that's what they need right now. All their big guys are heels right now. And it's killing them. Or it's not killing them because they grossed $17.3 million tonight. And obviously that's why they're able to sit there in a position and say, screw you, you know? Sorry, I'm losing, needing some water. So, I just don't understand the purpose of that finish. It doesn't make sense. And maybe tomorrow it will. Maybe at Raw tomorrow there'll be a big segment. Makes sense. I don't buy it. Whatever. Then we have the New Day and League of Nations. And New Day right now is one of the very few good things going on in wrestling. Now, some nights they come out, it's a little ridiculous. It's too ridiculous. It's too over the top. But they're one of the few face people groups that are enjoyable, okay? That bring fun and energy. And that's what I love about them. They're fun. They're energetic. They're great in the ring. I enjoy the New Day. I think they're everything that wrestling is supposed to be. They're over the top. They're, I don't know why I'm like dry all of a sudden. You know, but all right, so they're due to drop the belts. I'm fine with that. But there's so many good, you know, wrestlers, you know, tag teams right now, especially in the NXT, you know, that it's okay for them to drop them to somebody. But the League of Nations, there could not be a collectively more boring group of people than the League of Nations. So League of Nations wins this fight, and I'll get into that in a second, but what the You've got Alberto Del Rio, okay? You've got Sheamus. You've got Wade Barrett. And you have, who's the last guy? Rusev. That's why I forget him, because he's the most forgettable of the group. They're boring. And that's why their single careers are failing, because they're fucking boring. They're hilariously boring. and they're uninteresting, and even as a group, they're ridiculous. Okay, so they booked them a win. All right, not a clean win. There's obviously a cheat win. Barrett bullhammers Xavier Woods. Ref doesn't see it. Blah blah blah. So then they give him a microphone, and they're like, talk. And I'm like, why? Why? I don't want to hear them talk. So they get interrupted. They're like, oh, we're the four baddest dudes on the planet. All right, I'll give them that. They're great wrestlers. They're, all right. They're strong characters. I mean, they're believable, as being that. I'll give them that. They're big, they're tough, they're brooding. They're very uninteresting to listen to. They can't give a promo to save their lives. But, I just... Whatever. So then HBK, Shawn Michaels, his music hits. I mark out great. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. Hey, we're in his home state. Of course he's going to be involved in WrestleMania. He's got his wrestling gear. Then McFoley's music hits. All right, cool. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hits, and everybody shits a brick, okay? Marks out completely. Everybody's excited. But then there's also the, that was probably the best part of the night. But then you think about it, and these three legends come out here. Their time is gone. It's not their time anymore. And these three legends show up and squash 7 guys that are going to show up on Raw tomorrow night and try to be relevant again, And I understand that WrestleMania is about fun. These moments where those three come out is great, okay? Seeing Steve Austin almost dance with Xavier Woods, phenomenal, all right? Squashing all 7 of them, I just never understood that, and I always felt that way, when The Rock keeps showing up out of nowhere, and, I don't understand the purpose, but they did it. If they just squashed the League of Nations, fine. But then when they're taking out, New Day should have just walked away. I would have been way better with it if they just walked away. Or they could have just had fun with the New Day. Would it really have been that hard? I know Austin's thing is he stuns everybody, but whatever. Would it have really been that hard to celebrate with the New Day? Put them over, have a little bit of fun with them. Just, even when they got it right, they got it wrong, And I know there's a lot of you that might disagree with me on this, but, at the same time, how are these guys supposed to get better? How are they supposed to be more believable? I want to see Kofi Kingston get into the world title run, picture. He should have been way the frig back when he destroyed Randy Orton's race car. I think everybody walked out of that promo when he destroyed Orton's, race car and said, holy shit, this is legit. Kofi Kingston is going to be a world champion. And here we are all these years later, and I'm glad he's having fun with 2 people that he clearly loves. But, God, that guy should have had a world title by now. And now Roman Reigns is a 3-time world champion. Alberto Del Rio is a 3-time world champion. Come on. So, League of Nations won the match, and then, I don't know. That was, honestly, an okay enough moment that I'm going to, I would let it slide if it wasn't for everything else. So Brock Lesnar fights Dean Ambrose, and I think the whole purpose of having that match is to have Dean Ambrose win, right? It's to kind of establish Dean Ambrose and make him strong. But no, the whole purpose of Brock Lesnar ragdolling him all the way to WrestleMania is so that Dean Ambrose somehow pulls off a victory at WrestleMania, right? That only makes sense. And I understand that Lesnar has been very gracious to job to some people at Mania before. That's fine. If I were Brock Lesnar, I wouldn't accept matches where I had to job. I just wouldn't, He doesn't have to. He's in that position. He has a kind of driver's seat. But, You know, why are you going to take Dean Ambrose, one of the few guys that's a face that is really over with the fans, and you literally squashed him in a match against the Beast, you know, the guy, okay? Like, I don't understand the purpose of that, because, you know, the whole payoff of Ambrose getting demolished all these weeks has to be him pulling out a shocking win at WrestleMania, right? Nope. It might as well have been a squash match, because the only time Ambrose got any offense in is after he did something ridiculous with a weapon. And I just don't get what that accomplishes. What does it do for Dean Ambrose? Brock Lesnar, all right, that guy is a beast, all right? He can do anything he wants. He can fight anybody he wants. He can, you know, be a wrecking ball if you want him to be. But you don't have to do it at Dean Ambrose's expense. Like, all that does is stifle what he's done. Whatever. The women's title match. Great match, okay? You've got Snoop Dogg walking his cousin, Sasha Banks, out to the ring, and then he disappears. Ric Flair walks his daughter, Charlotte, out to the ring, and of course he stays there. And of course he factors into the match. He prevents the interruption, and Sasha gets pinned, and Charlotte becomes the new women's champion. Yeah, they've got a new belt. It's awesome. I'm glad they're not the Divas champion anymore. They're being taken seriously, because the women's division is serious, especially with Bayley going to make her debut, hopefully, tomorrow on Raw. But this was Sasha Banks' night. Like, she had Snoop Dogg walk her out, WWE Hall of Famer, rap her out, okay? They had whoever sings her theme song come out and sing it. They had Snoop Dogg rap it. Like, they've put her over so hard. Like, this was her night. Let Sasha Banks win. Like, what is the point of Ric Flair interfering again? You know what would have been a way better booking? Having Snoop Dogg stay at the ring, and when Ric Flair tried to interrupt, having Snoop Dogg take him out, Sasha gets the pin, she's the Divas champion, or women's champion. I totally screwed that up. So, look, wouldn't that have been way more interesting? Instead, we have to, like, watch the most unnecessary heel turn ever. Charlotte did not need to be a heel. She would have been just fine as a face. I don't know why they turned her heel. She was getting to the point where she was over. You know, so now we have another heel victory and another heel champion, all right? Like, what the fuck? Like, if you're going to do a title, like, I understand that they're having people hold on to titles longer to, like, make them feel like they're more, like, worthy. But, like, it's time, all right? She had her time. You know, Becky Lynch, I don't know if she's ever going to be a women's champion, but Sasha Banks is. She's legit. She is the boss. I'm not just saying that because she's billed as being from Boston. Like, she's going to be a women's champ multiple times, okay? That was her moment. That was her time, and they blew it. And it sucks. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. Because the fans at this point are like, well, what the fuck? You know? All right, so we wanted AJ to win, and he didn't. We wanted the New Day to win, and they didn't. Now we want Sasha to win, and she doesn't. So now we go to The Undertaker and Shane McMahon. And I didn't see any possible way Shane McMahon was going to win this match. Like, they made such a huge deal about the Undertaker's streak over the years that there's no way he's going to have a 2 on his loss column, all right? And Shane McMahon coming back into the WWE picture is literally the most interesting thing that has happened in the WWE since CM Punk, okay? Like, literally the most interesting thing. And I think it would have been so great if he somehow won that match. Now, Shane McMahon takes one of the most amazing falls or you know, spots. He has the spot, the moment of the night, when he jumps off the cage. But, of course, Taker doesn't take the pop, and Shane goes to the table, and that's it, all right? So what's the point? Like, and the worst part is, like, Vince McMahon, if Shane wins, he gets control of SmackDown. Vince McMahon's not even at ringside. Like, he's not even out there at all. What kind of booking is this? Like, nothing. Nobody. Like, SmackDown or Raw is like at stake, and there's nobody there. Like, that should have been the main event, and Stephanie and Hunter should have been out there. Like, there are so many reasons why this is stupid. And now maybe they're going to pick it up tomorrow, and maybe Shane's going to find a way to get another opportunity to get in control of Raw. Maybe they draw out this story and everything altogether. But there was no story involved at this. It was a match between Shane McMahon and The Undertaker. And Shane McMahon did a great job for being such a non-wrestler, as he always does. But, like, what's the point? What story are we telling? Like, we don't need Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. As a matter of fact, The Undertaker can go away. Like, all these old people that just show up for WrestleMania is what's killing these guys, because they put their bodies on the line all year, every night. They're out there traveling the world, while guys like The Undertaker, I know he's paid his dues. I know if anybody deserves to just show up at WrestleMania, it's him. But how many more years do we have to do that? And his body clearly can't take it. Like, he's not fun to watch anymore. He just, for me, and I was a huge Undertaker fan. I always have been, but, like, I'm done with him. I don't need to see him fight anymore. And he got his loss. He should walk away. This match was okay, but, like, at no point did I believe Shane McMahon was going to win. And not because of anything that was going on, but because I know the McMahons. And even though he is a McMahon, like, this best for business crap is actually worse for business. And there's no way Vince was going to lose. He doesn't have, like, the balls to do it. Like, we need less of them. And they're giving us more. So it was an opportunity for Shane to have Raw, and they blew it. And I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't really honestly care, to be honest, because, like, it doesn't make sense. So then, surprisingly, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal is the the third to last match of the night. Why is Baron Corbin in it? Like, this just goes to show you everything that I'm complaining about. Like, Baron Corbin, I'm glad, an NXT guy had the opportunity to come up, make a name for himself, do something cool in this thing. Why Baron Corbin? Out of everybody they could have chosen, they chose the Lone Wolf, a guy who is, like, establishing himself as a bad guy. And I might have missed some match that he wanted to qualify for it, and I apologize for that if I did. There's a very good chance that happened, but, like, still, obviously that was scripted. Why Baron Corbin? Like, why? So he wins it. Shaquille O'Neal comes out and participates. Diamond Dallas Page. Tatanka is randomly there, and Michael Cole doesn't even realize it until halfway through the match. Like, that stuff was kind of cool. Like, Shaq coming out, having his moment with Big Show. Kind of cool. Future WWE Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal, by the way, because obviously he had a match, therefore he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. If Steve Amell keeps getting as bigger and bigger, no doubt he's a future Hall of Famer for the WWE, because we're going to put all of our celebrities in, basically. But that match comes that late? Really? Whatever. The Rock. I like The Rock. I loved The Rock growing up. I don't appreciate him just showing up for the big events. Like, you need to be here. I feel like there's guys that are paying their dues that deserve to be out there. And The Rock comes out with his random flamethrower and sets his letters on fire. It was really weird and awkward to kind of watch. And then he comes out and he's interrupted by the Wyatts. Great. Let's get the Wyatts. Bray Wyatt is one of the, next to Kevin Owens, probably the most interesting heel in the company. Actually, maybe even more than Kevin Owens, might be the actual only interesting heel in the company. And he gets squashed again, this time by The Rock and John Cena. Because, yeah, it wouldn't be WrestleMania if John Cena didn't show up. So The Rock ends up pinning Erick Rowan in 6 seconds, setting a new WrestleMania record after The Rock mentioned that this event was a new WrestleMania record of like 102,000 people. He wins the match in 6 seconds against Erick Rowan. Why? Why did we need that? Like, I would have rather the Wyatts not even be on the card, and I would have bitched about that too. But, like, having these guys come back and just squash people does nothing. What does it do to Bray Wyatt? And he's been a good sport. Like, he's a guy that probably should be in the title hunt and should have more attention as a title candidate. But they don't take him seriously. And I don't understand. It's one of those guys that aren't, like, jacked like Ryback. Like, Ryback seems to always find his way in the picture because he's just a mountain of muscles and whatever. But, like, you're not doing anything if you don't let your young guys advance and have these opportunities to advance. And if you want the Wyatt family to be monster heels, you can't use The Rock and Cena to squash them. That doesn't help them at all. You know, even though The Rock said nice things about Bray Wyatt, it doesn't help them at all. They can't be taken seriously if it's just their job to everybody. And that's what I feel like they do most of the time. My phone's going crazy. So, last but not least, we have Roman Reigns and Triple H. And obviously, I already mentioned Roman Reigns wins. And why? I mean, I would rather Roman Reigns win than Triple H. But, like, I feel like this is where it's like, you will take what we give you. This is them forcing a guy on us, all right? And I want Triple H as far away from the title picture as possible. I honestly want the McMahons off TV. I would rather go back to Vicky Guerrero as general manager than have to deal with what's best for business. Like, it's oppressive. I think that's my biggest problem right now with what they're doing. Everything's just very oppressive. It, like, sucks the joy out of it. I want this to be fun. Like, I think back to CM Punk. I want everything to be fun again, you know? And, like, yeah, I know I keep mentioning him. I've mentioned him a couple times. Absolutely a CM Punk mark. Not going to lie about it. My favorite of all time. Obviously, he's not coming back. Not what I'm asking for. But excuse me. There are some things that he's said, you know, that make a lot of sense after he left. Talking about how guys are, like, super over and they're not getting their opportunities, you know, and it was like Daniel Bryan had to kick and claw his way into his opportunity, you know, before he got hurt, you know? Like, it shouldn't be that difficult, you know? It really, really shouldn't be. Like, they just don't pay attention. You know, they've got guys that are over and they just let them fall by the wayside. Like, Dean Ambrose should have found a way into that main event. Like, kind of like Roman did last year, you know? Or Daniel Bryan did, I should say. Like, he should have found a way in there. And that would have been way more interesting. They obviously had to have Roman Reigns win. Like, that was scripted from a long time ago. There's even a rumor that he's already scheduled to headline next year, which would be awful. Like, just awful. I don't hate Roman Reigns, but he can't talk. He can't wrestle. I mean, he's just a big guy that looks the part, you know? And if you can't talk, you're useless to me. I think that was one of the biggest appeals to CM Punk, is I love his promos. I love guys that can talk. This guy can't. He can't be a mouthpiece. But now Roman Reigns is a 3-time world champion. Let that sink in for a moment. I wish I didn't have the joy. Like, it would have been fine if, like, I could have dealt with a League of Nations win if they gave me a Shane McMahon win, or, you know, even a Sasha Banks win. If all I got, I'm looking at the results. If all I got out of this was a Zack Ryder win and a Sasha Banks win, you know, it would have been a little bit better. But, like, you know, sprinkle in AJ Styles, you know? Like, there shouldn't be, you know, bad guy, bad guy, bad guy, bad guy. Oh, wait, The Rock's a good guy and he won. All the marks will go crazy. But, like, at the end of the day, he didn't really take anybody's time because the pay-per-view went so long that the people that actually are stupid enough to keep buying them on pay-per-view, like, the pay-per-view companies switched over to the replay at 11, you know? But the event went on like 40 minutes over. And you could do that when you've got your own network and that's what you're primarily showing it on. Like, if you're not paying, all right, I understand there are some countries that don't have the network yet, but, like, if you're not doing the $9.99 for the WWE network, and you live in the North America, you're doing it wrong. Like, even if you buy it and then, like, discontinue it, like, it's $10 a month and you get the pay-per-views free. Seriously, what are you, crazy? It's 1 in the morning, 1:14 in the morning, and I'm just trying to get this up and out. I didn't want this to be a half-hour, you know, bitch fest, but I just can't take it. Like, they've got to do a better job of putting the guys over that are favorites. Like, it's oppressive. It just, there's no joy in what they're doing right now. And it was a poor WrestleMania. I just did not enjoy it. Sorry. If you did, then all the power to you. I'd love to hear why. Maybe you're a big Roman Reigns fan. That's fine. I just feel like they kind of missed the boat with him. And now the fans have kind of turned on it. And nothing they do can put them ahead. Although he did spear Stephanie tonight. And that was probably one of the best moments of the night. And it's crazy because when Stephanie was younger, even now actually, she's a fucking smoke show. Like, I don't know what it is, but, like, Stephanie is one of the few celebrities where I'm like, damn, I know what it is. I mean, good for Triple H. I mean, but you know, I love Triple H too, man. Like, but, like, they're so boring now. Like, they just pull the joy from out of me and they throw it on the ground. Like, it's just too many bad guys winning, you know? You need to find ways to get guys that are fun over to watch, you know? Like, I don't know. And Roman Reigns is not fun, you know? Like, he looks the part. He sells t-shirts. This is a t-shirt company after all. But if you were in Texas and went to the event and enjoyed it, that's great. You know, Dan Rickert on Twitter, like, I just happened to, like, the two notifications you heard were tweets. One of them was him responding to my tweet because somebody asked him what it felt like to be at the worst ever WrestleMania, and he's like, well, I was there. It's not about one match and one card. It's about the whole experience. I'm like, yeah, that's great if you're there, but not everybody can be there. So for those of us that aren't, all we have to work with is what we see on TV. I didn't say it in that many words, but that's what my point was. And, you know, like, I get it. I've been to WrestleMania. I was at the WrestleMania that Austin beat, you know, Shawn Michaels with Mike Tyson there at the ring. I was there, all right? But, like, you know, I get it. It's a fun experience, and that's cool. I'm glad he had that experience. But, like, for those of us watching it on TV, you kind of have to, you know, look at it and say, hey, this isn't what we want. And I don't know how else to do it other than make a video and say, hey, this isn't what we want. So I'd love to know what you guys think. I know some of you guys were tweeting at me during the event that you enjoyed it and you didn't enjoy it, and that you were marking out the way I was marking out. And I didn't mark out to much, but, you know, it could have been so much better. Like, I gave you all the ways they could have booked it, and it could have been so much better. But what do I know? I'm not a McMahon. So, that's all I got. That's my review of WrestleMania 32. 2 thumbs down. Sorry. We'll see ya.